Drake has never been one to hold back when he feels something isn't right. This time, it's Spotify that has him speaking up. The rap superstar, known for dominating streaming charts like no other, is convinced that the platform is suppressing his latest album while giving extra push to Kendrick Lamar's project, GNX. Fans first noticed something strange when Drake's new album didn't appear on Spotify's front page the way his previous releases had. Normally, whenever Drake drops new music, it's everywhere on playlists, banners, and featured sections. But this time, it was different. While Kendrick Lamar's GNX was heavily promoted across the platform, Drake's project seemed to be tucked away, almost as if Spotify didn't want people to find it easily. Drake, never one to stay silent, took to social media to address the situation. In a series of cryptic posts, he hinted that something was going on behind the scenes. He didn't directly accuse Spotify of playing favorites, but the message was clear. He felt his album wasn't getting the fair exposure it deserved. Fans quickly jumped into the conversation, sharing screenshots of how difficult it was to find Drake's album compared to Kendrick's, fueling speculation that the platform was intentionally limiting his reach. Streaming services like Spotify play a huge role in an artist's success. They control what music gets pushed to the front and what stays buried in the background. If a platform decides to highlight one artist over another, it can make a massive difference in streams, chart positions, and overall success. That's why Drake's concerns aren't just about ego. They're about the business of music and how platforms can shape an artist's career. Some industry insiders believe there's more to the story. Over the years, Drake has had an on and off relationship with Spotify. He's previously worked with Apple Music, which has been a direct competitor to Spotify in the streaming wars. Some are speculating that Spotify may not be giving him the same support as before because of these past dealings. Then there's the Kendrick Lamar factor. The rivalry between the two has been one of hip-hop's most talked about dynamics. While they've never directly gone at each other the way Drake and Pusha T did, there has always been tension. Fans have constantly debated who is the better artist, and whenever they release music around the same time, comparisons are inevitable. Some believe Spotify is leaning into this rivalry by pushing Kendrick's album more aggressively to spark discussions and engagement on the platform. But is there actual proof that Spotify is suppressing Drake's music? That's where things get tricky. Streaming platforms operate on complex algorithms and curated editorial decisions. While it's possible that Kendrick's album was simply performing better and getting more organic attention, the fact that Drake's album wasn't getting the usual treatment raises eyebrows. Some fans even theorized that certain industry players might have influenced Spotify's choices, though there's no concrete evidence to support this. Drake's response to the situation has been both subtle and sharp. Instead of launching a full-blown rant, he's letting the numbers speak for themselves. Despite the alleged suppression, his album continues to rack up millions of streams, proving his influence remains untouched. But the situation has also started an important conversation about how much power streaming services hold over artists. If a platform can decide which albums to highlight and which to downplay, what does that mean for independent artists who don't have the same pull as Drake? If someone as big as Drake can feel the impact of these decisions, smaller artists stand almost no chance of fighting against such forces. This controversy has made people question whether streaming services are truly neutral platforms or if they're actively shaping the music industry based on their own interests. Kendrick Lamar, on the other hand, has remained silent throughout all of this. He has never been the type to engage in public disputes, preferring to let his music do the talking. Some of his fans argue that his album is simply better and deserves the push it's getting. But others acknowledge that in an industry driven by money and power, nothing happens by accident. This situation also highlights the ongoing shift in how music is consumed. In the past, radio stations held the keys to an artist's success, deciding which songs got played and which ones didn't. Now, streaming services have taken over that role, and their influence is even stronger. The difference is that while radio decisions were somewhat transparent, streaming algorithms are hidden behind layers of technology, making it harder for artists to challenge unfair practices. For Drake, this moment serves as both a frustration and a reminder of his place in the industry. He's been at the top for over a decade, breaking records and setting trends. Even if Spotify is limiting his reach, his fan base is too strong to let him fail. But the real question is what this means for the future of streaming. If platforms are willing to push certain artists while holding others back, what kind of music industry are we heading toward? Fans will continue debating whether this was an intentional move by Spotify or just a coincidence. But one thing is certain, Drake isn't letting this slide. He knows his worth. And if history has shown us anything, it's that he always finds a way to turn situations like this into fuel for his next big move. Whether that means calling out the industry more openly or finding new ways to distribute his music, this won't be the last time we hear about Drake versus the streaming giants.